They've never slept in that long. I was thrilled. Although last night they broke we have a giant mirror in the rec room where we keep them when we're not home, and they broke it yesterday. So I came home and it was shattered all over the floor at midnight. It was very scary, but they're okay.
Morning.
Good morning, Pam.
Morning, Pam.
Good morning, Bill.
Morning.
Hello.
Hey, Bill.
Hey.
I think Rocket Sauce was the only other one for this morning. Is that right? Yeah. So let's see. There, we'll get started. Some exciting stuff for today. This is a good one. Bill, drinks are on me, buddy. When we get to fucking Barry.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, we knew we were expecting a raise and back pay, but they included our allowances as well as our salary, which we weren't expecting. So we get sea duty allowance when we're posted to a ship, and we get extra pay when we do a deployment overseas. So we weren't expecting either of those to be included in the raise, but they were both included. So.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we're pretty happy. You going too, Bam? It's a good week for everybody. You got a raise too, didn't you? And a bonus.
I did, yeah. Yeah. It's my first raise in a long time, and it's my first bonus ever. So.
Are you private sector?
We are publicly funded,
Okay.
but not private sector.
It's exciting. I'm not seeing a response from Ryan, and I know Dean has to go. So I figure we'll just start, and if he shows up midway, that works.
Drop the firing. If there you go. Oh, cool.
It's Amanda's 25th birthday today, right?
Well, yeah, she wishes.
Colleen's been turning 25 for 15 years.
Yeah. No, she's still in her 20s, so it's a bit of a ways to go. So we'll cover off some of the actions that we took based on the conversations 2 weeks ago. There was quite a bit of progress, like Sean mentioned. Some really good opportunities came up, so we'll talk about those, and then we'll lead into some of the newer conversation points that we haven't got a chance to really discuss. So we talked about branding consistency, and we've been working on making sure that the new logo and the new artwork is really everywhere it can be. I know there's still some outstanding items like the iTunes podcast. It's still reflective of the old artwork, so we'll be changing that. But that should really be the last of it.
I'm not sure why, because iTunes gets its feed directly from Podbean, and Podbean has a new logo everywhere. So other than the thumbnails on the individual podcasts, I'm not sure, because when Duke shares the show, it still shows up as the old logo, and I'm not certain how to change that. I'm going to send an email to Apple this week, because I went through Podbean, and everything on Podbean is the new Hangout, which is what feeds all of iTunes.
And that includes the legacy episodes as well.
Yeah, those I do have to manually change. That one is on me, but
Right.
And I am going to work on that this week. That's an easy change.
Okay, cool. We talked about some audio bumpers. Those have been composed, sounds like. You shared 4 different versions.
Yes. Yeah. That's just the music. There's a 5-second, a 15-second, a 30-second, and a 10-second. The 10-second one's a little slower than the others. I am going to put together a video version with the 5-second bumper, and also do a silent version of the video one, so that if somebody wanted to use one of the longer ones underneath it and have it bleed into their video, they could. And I'm still working on an audio, like a phrase for the podcasts, like an audio one. I don't know. I'm going to check right now that shared document. I don't know if anybody else has had any ideas on it, but yes, okay. those I reached out to Sir Flash. I fucking hate calling grown men by their nicknames. Musty. And
Yeah, sorry about that.
and he did them
It
up.
would get confusing, I promise.
He did them out quickly for us. Yeah, I think
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
like
I
them.
heard they were used in the last Perfect Dark
Yeah.
stream, so that's good.
Is that the music we are set on? Are you vetting out anything else, or is that what we're going with?
I reached out to him and asked him for 4 samples. He provided those, and then I paid him. So
Yeah, that's the ones then.
yeah, I mean, if we want different ones, he's happy to do more for us. He also has he produces his own music. He works for he does music for games, but he has his own individual stuff. And he said that if somebody was interested in putting any of his music as background music in their videos or podcasts or whatever, that if they just sent him a message and let him know which track, because he'd have to make sure it wasn't a track that was used in the game, that he doesn't have an issue with that, as long as he's properly credited in the description.
If I'm allowed to be constructive,
Sure.
and add criticism,
Yeah.
I wish it was more distinctive. Where when I heard it, I automatically associated it with Cartridge Club. To me, it seemed kind of generic.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I can ask for something else.
Is there something that is like so distinctive, it only belongs to the Cartridge Club, and in a 5-second, like the last Sting we used, it wasn't our music, but it was certainly distinctive.
The Blaster Master one?
Like, is there something he can come up with that is not so, like you've heard it before?
I can definitely ask for that. Yeah, I can reach out to him.
Oh, I'm just saying, unless everyone else is happy with it. To me, it wasn't so distinctive. But
Does anybody else have any input?
No, I haven't listened to it too often or too much, and to be honest, I can't think of what it is off the top of my head. That might come with time. I'm wondering if maybe we should steer away from sort of the 8-bit chiptune style then, because it does all sort of blend together. Does all kind of sound the same unless you have some grand compositions like Blaster Master or Castlevania.
exactly.
Let me just make that note in the document here.
Pam, you were going to say something?
Oh, I would have to listen to it again. I don't recall.
Right.
It was on the Perfect Dark episode.
Yeah. You guys should all also have a shared file to all 4 tracks.
Oh, okay.
Okay, great. Moving on down, Twitter's been going pretty well. We have the new handles going around. We have the new handles that we're using, Cartridge Club NE, and that seems to work for Twitter, Instagram. I think Facebook may have changed as well. Not sure if it's still Cartridge
yes.
Bros.
No, it's
Okay.
Cartridge Club NA.
Cool. So that's sort of the best scenario for us at this point, simply because the other options are used. We tried CCFuture, Cartridge Club, all sorts of things, and Cartridge Club NA seemed to be the way to go. I don't know if you've got any feedback from our UK members or down south.
They never responded. Oh, like Cartridge Club members? No one ever said anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
They're obviously still included. What else here? Well, we haven't got to the merch conversation yet, but Sean and I did have a pretty cool conversation last week. I don't know, Sean, if you wanted to brief everyone on what's going on.
So we were reached out to by a company called T Public. They are the same team that made Busted Tees, College Humor, and Vimeo. And one of their associate managers was our name was given to her as a possible group that would benefit or would be a good fit with T Public. So we had a meeting with her, and she explained the process of setting up. It's sort of like I'm hesitant to use Teespring as an example because this is an actual store that's permanently up all the time with no requirement for purchase or for number of purchases, and you can share designs from shirt designs from other designers in your store. Most importantly is you gain, I'm just trying to find the email from her. You gain a commission based on all of the sales done. Now, if it's a design of your own, you get 31% commission. All the shirts are $20 unless they're on a sale. That's 20 American, so 400 Canadian. All the shirts, if it's a design of your own, you get 31% commission. If it's somebody else's design from the site, you get 11% commission. And they promote it, and we can promote it as well. But it was a great way because you curate your own store. Essentially you change what you want in there. Some of the designs that are on there are really good. We reached out to 3 designers from the club, Rob Shelby and Rhinovision, and they have all said that they're going to start doing shirt designs. And so that when those shirts sell, because they designed them themselves, they will personally get the 20% commission, and then the 11% would go to the club. The good thing for them as a designer is anybody else on any other store on TeePublic is free to share their designs and sell them. And anytime their designs sell, they personally receive that 20%. And then whatever store has them up gets the 11%. So it's a nice way for them to make some money. But we wanted to have options for if you guys are willing. You guys, I think this is most of the people. Polykill will hear this, I hope. If you guys were willing to have a Media Mavens t-shirt, and STC already has t-shirts, but if you guys had either just set up a
No.
So
Good
continuing
job.
on, yeah, you can set up sort of your own sub stores or collections even that we can
Well,
post
you
in
can
the
see that
Cartridge clubs.
Show
And then
design.
anybody can, yeah, exactly, and anybody can use those. You can also flag them for personal use or private use for the Cartridge Club only. If we have any sort of branded merchandise, it's not restricted just to t-shirts. They have all sorts of clothing options. They have laptop cases, phone cases, wall art, stickers, mugs, the whole shebang. So if you guys are looking to branch out your own sort of content and podcasts, of course, more than welcome to do that. If you want to make things more generic so they can be sold by other stores, you will get, like Sean said, the full 20% commission based on that. And sort of the route we were planning on taking is stocking up the store with some third-party designs as well, based on games of the month and themes that we're going through at that particular time of year. Right now, for example, we have the store up with some Final Fantasy IV t-shirts, some really great designs from third-party artists, and then we've reached out to some artists that are in the community, some professional artists in the Cartridge Club community that will be doing up some designs for us. And again, they could be used exclusively by us, or they could be sort of offered out to all of the other stores across, and then they'll get the commission directly. So really good opportunity. There's no commitment. There's no minimum sales numbers. It's direct to print. So if somebody orders one mug, it'll go to them right away. They're shipped out of, I think, New York, Buffalo, Los Angeles, and Washington State somewhere. So getting them into Canada shouldn't be a problem. Getting them around the U.S. is usually fast as well. Nothing compared to the Canada Post. So
She also mentioned that if a purchaser receives their item and there's custom fees on it, to contact them and they will pay the custom fees. They will reimburse you for the custom fees. So as a buyer, if I bought a T-shirt and I got here and it came to Canada and we got tagged with custom, you could reach out to them and then they would cover that cost of the custom fees if it was hit with it.
And how do their retail costs compare to the other stuff out there? What's a t-shirt going to cost to Canadian?
It's
20 bucks.
Yeah, I think it's 20 US.
Yeah, 20 US. And then anytime there's a sale that goes on, which usually lasts a couple days, it's down to 14.
Yeah.
Our commission stays the same at 31% or 20%, depending on the design we use. Or 11%.
Yeah, 11. Yeah, and the
And the
designer's
shipping?
commission is, I don't know.
Is there is it College Humor? Like, is there a website you can go just to like reference like the stores that they have, or like like T-shirt options?
Yeah, you can go right to TeePublic.
TeePublic, okay.
.com, and she sent us an example of a store in the email, and I can send that. I'm sorry for dropping there from the call. I don't know what happened.
So again, there's the ability within the store to set up sort of these sub collections. So we can base those around the individual content creators, the podcast, for example, the Media Mavens sort of sub store, which has all of their logo designs. We could have the Game of the Month collection, where we have a T-shirt for each Game of the Month, things like that. So lots of opportunity, and it sounds like a really good sort of partnership with them because they actually had a look at our website. They looked at our forums. They were actually recommended to us by a friend, and we're trying to narrow down who that friend might be. But she seemed to like our stuff, and they're right up in the nerd culture as well. She's definitely a video game player and anime watcher and moviegoer. So it was good to hear.
There's an example store in the Twitter chat there, Ryan.
Gotcha.
I think the biggest takeaway from it is this isn't something that we would expect. Like a lot of the main club members have bought shirts and done stuff. They're members of the Patreon. This isn't necessarily we're expecting those people are going to buy a bunch of shirts type of thing. This is a wider net. This is, I can share that link to a T-shirt store pretty much anywhere, and people that like T-shirts can check it out. And it's not. I mean, they have the option for specific branded shirts from the club, but they'd also have the option to buy shirts that are more gaming related, more generically gaming related. So I think it's a way to sort of shift some of the funding for the stuff that we want to be able to do here very soon, like the website and things like that, away from the people who have been mainly doing it, for the last 4 years or whatever. It's not a, every person in the club is now going to like, it's, you know what I mean?
Yep, sounds good. So that's really the actions we've taken against the previous discussion points. We have reached a few milestones. I think there was some pretty heavy activity in the forums. We passed 3,000 posts. We're almost at 3,500 now. So the growth seems pretty exponential right now, mainly because of all the topics that are on there. We've reached 100 members on the forums, so that's not indicative of the totality of the club, but it is nice to see that the new forums, having been so new, have now surpassed the old forums, which were up for 3 years. And Facebook page has over 300 likes since the last call, so not 300 new likes, but 300 likes in total, which is great. So some good followership all around. The Twitter page, the Cartridge Club NA Twitter, is still pretty low. I think it's hovering around 50 follows. So just hoping to get everybody signed up if they're interested or subscribed to the Twitter feed. So that's where most of the birthday shout outs, congratulatory messages get sent from. Speaking of which, might not be a bad idea to send out a congratulatory email to NJ Retro for the new addition to his family as of last night, I think.
I will, yes. I had muted myself. My dogs were going crazy.
Yeah, no problem. So unless anybody else has anything to talk about, we can get right into the next discussion, which is conveniently swag.
Go ahead.
Cool. So the first item here, talking about flyers and handbills and the different methods of passing those around, whether it's slapping them on people's cars or handing them out at gaming conventions. Bill, I know in the past you've been a advocate for handbills. You actually have an awesome SDC one. Have you seen any success with it? Do you have any thoughts on sort of what we can do to capitalize that?
No, you're still again handcuffed by distribution, getting people to hand them out, which is always a chore. So it's tough.
Just bill shipping on those T-shirts appears to be $6.99.
Well, that's still way better than Teespring.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just tough distributing the material as far as you can. You need you got to have like an army of people out there, especially in the big urban areas, putting them on construction fences and bus stops and all that jazz. I think in order to see any kind of success with it.
Right.
So now, we didn't do the papering of the cars at the last convention, but that might be something too.
Is that something we should be looking at for Barry?
There's people that hate that and think seeing a flyer on the car will have a negative effect. But I think anytime someone is forced to touch it, it's a positive.
Oh, what you do is you get bumper stickers and you slap it on people's cars.
Jesus.
Yeah, they love that.
I don't know if we would need to do that at Barry. I am of the group that if that was on my car, I would be annoyed. But because Barry we're going to be an official sponsor, so our name will be on whatever signage he has there. As well, the gaming lounge is going to be marked as the Cartridge Club Gaming Lounge. So I don't necessarily think that Barry would need us to do that. Yeah. I know it's, yeah. Anyway, that's what I have to say.
You sure that's all you have to say?
Well, because I like the idea of the business cards, or just even a small, like a business cards are easier because you can keep them in your pocket. And then someone you're having a conversation with, just being able to, gauge that person and gauge their interest and make sure they're not an asshole, and then hand them one, as opposed to, I don't know. But I'm not in marketing. I don't know. I'm gonna mute myself because my dog's there.
I think if we get the business cards, we ask the club members who are vendors at Barry, maybe just can we leave it at your table just for someone to take, or something like that. I don't think it'd be harmful at all.
Yeah, so we have what, 4 tables at Barry? Thumbs up is good. Okay. So
that's
I'm wondering
great.
if we have time to get those at least personalized. Some Cartridge Club with the table owners. I don't know who they are. I'm assuming James and Troy and
James,
Ryan
Troy, Bill, Derek, and Flock of Nerds, I think, were the ones who had. Oh, and Rhino Vision, I think, were the ones who. A couple of them are splitting a table.
Well, I'm
There's a
still
spreadsheet.
non-committal at this point.
Right. Bill's up a possible half a table. Right.
Right. Okay. So I'm wondering if we have time to get just some of those personalized with their Twitter handles or channels or whatever, but still with the Cartridge Club branding on them, so they can at least hand them out for every sale at their table.
Include it with every game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was that talk of using it as like an insert in the, like for disc-based games, at least they have, which is ironic. But were we thinking of just getting handbills that would accomplish that, or?
No, I think they're listed as 2 separate items here on the document, and I think they are 2 separate things. So the one is the insert, and I think James is actually using some draft that he did up himself, which is great. I think the only downfall there is that if for whatever reason the CD doesn't work, or there's a problem with the sale, or there's a bad experience, it becomes associated with the club as a whole.
Yeah.
So we just want to be careful who we're getting these handsets handed out by, and I have full trust in the people at the convention that have the tables there. Not worried about that, but just making them more of a public offering, I think, would be a mistake.
That's a good point. I hadn't considered that. That if it's associated with a game that somebody purchased and that game doesn't work, that's. I don't want somebody messaging the club saying, "Hey, you sold me this game," because I didn't. I hadn't considered that. That's good.
All right.
It
Sorry,
all
Messi, you're
depends on
taking.
what is our goal with this marketing campaign. Is it a wide net, or is it, a small net where you're vetting everyone? Like how wide of a net do you want? I think you either got to go big or just remain small. What's the goal of the marketing campaign?
Good question.
What would each of you prefer? What would you prefer, Bill? Because this group, we brought this group together to find out sort of what we want. It's not just necessarily like what is our goal as a group. I gotta mute myself again. These fucking dogs.
Obviously, it's great when we have this smaller club where everyone has this positivity, and we're not we don't have the regular negative stuff that comes out of bigger communities. But if we want to grow, I think we have to cast a huge net, and because it's so much harder to market and like vet people. So you just throw out a huge net and try to bring in whoever you can, and then you get rid of people as the schoolyard dictates who stays in kind of thing. Maybe, I don't know.
Ryan?
I think Bill just made a good point. I would have preferred to stay small, but I think Bill just made a really good point. So that maybe just cast the net and kick people out as they come in, maybe, or
Musty.
I could go 50-50 on this.
Bunch of non-committal
there's-
bastards.
Well, there's something about it. I guess it depends on the rate of growth and what you're hoping for. If you want that big bang where we go from we go doubling the forum size in the span of a month, then
What
I think we know the answer. Then if that's the type of thing that we want to have happen, I think. Do we have rough metrics on current growth rate?
We're fairly plateaued right now.
Yeah, we've been at the same spot for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, look, I think organic growth is dead. I don't think with all the content and all the saturation out there, I don't think we're going to get a steady stream of new people coming to the site or coming to any of our content. There might be a new listener here and there, but it's certainly not enough to rate metrics against. So to Bill's point, casting that wide net would satisfy that. My only concern is right now we really don't want to alienate or ostracize people who are only in the club for certain months because those are the games they like. It's easy right now with 100, 200, 300 people that are in the club today to keep tabs on them and see when they come back and continue with our birthday shout outs and our congratulatory emails to them, even though they haven't played in the past 2-3 months. Once that club count becomes 300, 400, 500, 1,000 people, there's no way we can manage who's still actively a member, who are still lurkers on the forums, or who are still listeners to the podcast. And it becomes harder to keep those guys engaged because you would imagine that a lot of your efforts would be for naught. It's just people who signed up and walked away. So I think targeting that between Easy Allies and RetroWare TV, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, is a really good goal. Not too high of a user count, still a pretty manageable amount, but not large enough that we need a marketing team.
Sure. I'm maybe naively confident that once we get the people, our content will keep them in without having to engage them one-on-one kind of thing. We show them the space we provide, and they'll come and play in it. For how long? I don't know.
Yeah, I do think we have some very strong content that is just getting better. Pam, what about you? What would you prefer?
Well, I'm antisocial, so anytime anyone mentions like a large group of people coming in, I'm not super thrilled. I mean, seeing the forum, the member list, there was 12 new people joining in May and one so far in June. Are those all just people who were already part of it, who are just rejoining the forums? Like, is that not growth?
There were 3 that were not previously members.
Okay.
N Carter Game Rescue and Excessive Derp. Ramvox, Catmax, Elrock, Retro Kaiser, Fitnat. Those guys were all previous members.
Yeah. Michael B. I don't know if Michael B was a member, but we've interacted with him quite a bit. So I guess you could throw him in the new member group because he hadn't signed up before, or had he?
He was signed up on the old forums.
Okay. Yeah.
Have you guys noticed sort of a new followership, Bill or Pam, with your podcast with the introduction of the forums? Do you notice that people have been commenting in there that you didn't know watched your show, or that you're enjoying talking to on a regular basis from your shows?
Maybe 1 or 2, but no tidal wave for sure.
Yet.
Yeah, there's been a couple club members who have commented on the forum threads and things, who I don't think listened before.
Right.
Yeah, our forums have actually slowed down the last few weeks, so I don't know.
Yours have?
Yeah.
It's because Joe stopped responding.
Is that it? I need that diva to keep going in there.
Yeah.
There's no rocket sauce in there, let me tell you.
Sorry,
I don't even know if Ryan has an account, does he?
I do.
Oh yeah, they beat my score stuff. Yeah.
But
I do have to push the forums better on our Facebook page, like we talked about last time. I haven't been as good at that as I was supposed to be. It was a shitty week at work.
maybe it's a selling point too, just to say you don't even have to go to the website, go to the app because the forums are on your app or something too, or something.
Yeah, I will. I do want to get the forms to the point when we can adjust it so that it sizes correctly on the app, so that it's not a hat. I don't want people to be turned off by the Android version of the app.
I just go landscape and it tends to be a little bit better, but
Yeah, that's what I do too for iOS.
The thought came up in the Hangout about maybe a tutorial, just something super basic, like an introduction to the forums type thing, like a video, just to kind of familiarize people with it. I think that may be helpful. As I know there were a lot of people who just sort of say it's a lot to digest right off the bat, and like even if you walk away for a couple of days, you come back and there's just a bunch of every single forum's got Mario giving you the peace sign, and just kind of managing that as a user is something that I think some people are not accustomed to.
Yeah, I could do a quick 2-minute or 1-minute tutorial just on general form use and how they work. That shouldn't be a problem. Just about new posts, how the form. Yeah, that should be easy to do, and then we could tag it in the welcome section. That's the problem with, because I look at it like it's like when someone doesn't know how to use their phone. You know what I mean? My mother can't take a screenshot, take a screen cap. To me, it's just like it's always been this way. So this isn't these. I don't think these forms are revolutionizing anything. I'm pretty sure they work the same way forms have worked since 99. But I realize that there are people who wouldn't know. So I can do that together. I can put that together. That should be easy. A couple of screen captures of my desktop and things. So
Oh, there's really easy to get free recording software for desktop as well. So it's what I use for the Weebly posts.
Okay, cool.
All right, so Sean. Okay, jumping back into jumping back to the conversation or the point Bill had. What do we want to do? I think rather than making all of these major changes at once, it's really about us easing into each of these changes and seeing how well they work. And the point of these conversations, I think, more or less, is to get your ideas of how do we optimize each of these items? Should we bother with any of them? And then based on those, we start rolling them out slowly. So even though we talked about 30, 40, 50 things in the past 2 weeks, we've really only actioned 5 or 6 of them, and we're assessing the impact as they go. And we're seeing some numbers increase, which is great. But I don't imagine we'll have a whole new clothing line out, next week. It's just, that's not how it's going to work. I think we have to start right now with areas we can. So I mean, yeah, we can be printing out handbills and handing them out at conventions, but Bill, to your point, we just don't have the resources to slap them around the city. And I don't know. I don't think it's feasible right now to expect a whole lot of response out of that until we see that it's working and what parts of it are working, and then we can concentrate on those.
I agree.
Okay, I'm glad. Back to swag, t-shirts, hoodies. I don't know much about clothing, but is there any concern about having sort of the Cartridge Club on a clothing item, or seeing that branding but not understanding what it is? Is there a need to put cartridgeclub.org on any of our clothing, or sort of a here's where you get more information?
I don't understand what's on most clothing I see today, so
Right.
I couldn't tell you what fleek means.
If it was like a really cool design or something like that, like I would ask maybe or something, or try to look it up. If I just saw the name Cartridge Club like on the shirt, I would probably then Google it to see.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you can put the website address. I think that would be a turnoff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and with the logo on there, anybody who's into games, it's sort of self-explanatory because you can clearly tell that that's a D-pad. And then to say Cartridge Club, yeah, at least you would know, okay, this is something gaming related. And like Ryan said, if you saw it and you weren't sure, there's a possibility to Google it. Or even better, you'd ask the person wearing the shirt, hey, what's that shirt about? And they could be like, it's these douchebags on the internet. Thanks for contributing, Shadow.
All right, cool. We have some other clothing items in the list, and that's really satisfied by TeePublic. Talk about toques, winter hats. Just items that you can wear sort of over your clothing for places like Canada or the northern states where it gets colder and you're not necessarily wearing your t-shirt everywhere. So we've talked about hoodies, things like that, patches. I think Musty, you brought up that can be put on backpacks and hoodies. Musty, you said you know the president of Adidas and he's agreed to help us out.
Not excellent. The president. He's I don't know what his role is. They have cool kind of like hip titles, but I can't recall what his is. It's some kind of brand management, I think. He was actually he was pitching an idea for them for like esports, and so that's like where I got the like hoodies with the like thumb hole thing.
Can we get Pam's Overwatch name on a jersey?
I mean these are things I could ask for. I don't know what capabilities he would have. I don't know what, like, all of my stuff has been, he's been generous enough to give me his employee discount on, shoes and things like that. But if we needed a source for good quality apparel, it sounds like we've got that now. So, but we could, I mean, if we needed to get something, kind of unique for a specific situation, he might be able to help out. I don't know. We can keep it in our back pocket. I don't, but sounds like the T-Public thing kind of hits the big points that.
Yeah.
Well, keep an eye on him if he starts rising the ranks of Adidas. And
does T-Public offer shoe designs?
I don't believe so.
Oh, no, we got to do this guy then. So sorry.
Yeah. And there are Samantha, who is our associate manager there. She's very enthusiastic or engaged. We've sent a couple emails back and forth since our meeting, and she's pretty excited for us to eventually launch, and talking about maybe running a flash sale when it happens, and sharing that across hopefully the T-Public main site or wherever they share their flash sale stuff. So it might be a good opportunity on the launch day to get that initial boom out there.
Yeah, the whole experience has been super personalized. It's these aren't generic emails that they're sending out like YouTube. We want you to join our channel. It's been we know the club. We've been to the sites, and Sam or Samantha, she's who we've been dealing with since day one, and first name basis with us. So it's great.
Yeah, and talking to her, it definitely felt like it wasn't. She Googled, she didn't do a Google search for internet communities or anything. She knew who we were. So
just gotta find out who recommended it.
She said it was her friend named Sam, her friend who also had the same name of Sam. So I told her we'd thank her on the air, and she seemed pretty excited about that. And then I didn't do it this week because I'm an asshole. Yeah, I'm saving it for the announcement of the store going live. There you go. Yeah.
Okay, so before we get off swag, what do we want the store to look like before we do the sort of announcement? Right now, it's got a couple third-party tees in there for Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
What sort of stock do you want before we put out the announcement? Is it worth it to announce it with such little stock, or no personalized designs, no logo designs?
I would like to have the Cartridge Club minimum the Cartridge Club T-shirt on there for the launch as well. I spoke to the three artists, and they are they're busy, but they are excited. They said they will get us stuff as they can. There's no guarantee they'll have something for launch, but I would like to have, if possible, at minimum, the STC shirt design. I think a Media Maven shirt design works really well, just because their lettering and their logo would look really sharp on a black T-shirt, I think, or even like a dark purple T-shirt. I'd like to have a section so that people could be like, okay, here's some of the generic designs from the site for your gamers out there, and then people who are on that page who are like, okay, well, this is the Cartridge Club store. What is the Cartridge Club? And have a section of here is our contents store sections, like Media Maven's Polykill, STC, Flock Talk. I would like to, and then the club itself. I would like to have that option at launch, especially if they're gonna run a flash sale and give it any kind of push. Just if you're gonna, I mean, because I know STC has, Jesus Christ, STC has hosting costs. I'm sure Media Mavens does. So any income that could, even if it's only a little bit, to help towards that would be a benefit, I think. Jesus Christ, that's what I think.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll just have to talk to Riley, see what she thinks.
Yeah, that makes sense. On the front page to have all your major, content creators on that very first page. And it should be all rolled out in one big grand fashion. As I know Dean said you prefer a slow rollout of all the new things we're bringing out. Really nothing is, more exciting than a big grand, the big rebrand that happens on a certain day where everything pops on the one day and you tease it for months and months kind of thing. New music, new stings, new branding, new stores, maybe a new show or something, and that all gets put out on a grand opening day kind of thing. But, it's hard.
Yeah, I think again, my only concern there is totally agree. I just we just don't have the tools or the people to really judge what's working and what's not if we do the grand opening. I'm just worried that too much of our time would be spent continuing with managing all of those rollouts, than doing sort of the trickle and seeing how that affects the club.
Mhm.
That said, I think it really can't be quantified if you do one thing and not the other, as opposed to doing two things. I think the impact is going to be that much heavier the more things you do at once. So I think we'll get, it's more than the sum of its parts, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, to me, rolling out the music on the latest things was a little confusing to me because the visual was the same, but the music was different. And, when you rebrand, that's got to be an event. That's an event. Like in television, when someone rebrands, they tease it for a month, and then that's the big deal, the rebrand. Everything rolls out at the same time. Audio, video.
We could maybe target the first episode of Portable as the line for the new bumper, the new music, and then the launch of the store at that same time. I mean, the website and the website won't be built by then. I don't imagine it'll even be designed by the
Do we want to just shoot for season 5? I mean, a 5-year anniversary is a big deal. Kind of always, celebrating the fifth whenever, and you do everything. It gives you time to do. You don't have to rush this out. We can really build it up, if anything, because it's like 5 more months away, or was it September?
September, yeah, September 1st.
So it gives it a little bit more time,
That is a good time too. Like in the television world, that's when the new seasons all start. Everyone's gearing up for new content in September.
Right.
Plus, that's also a good point because everyone's busy in the summer. Everyone's going vacations or doing stuff in the summertime, running around. Probably be the slowest time of the year, if anything, for the club. With participation. So
that's not a bad idea. That gives us enough time to set everything up and have it all in place. I still don't think the website will be done by then. What's website design cost? Pam, you might be able to help. We're talking like a lot of money, correct, to have a website designed, even if it's through WordPress?
I don't know how much. It shouldn't be that much, I don't think. I don't ever deal with finance stuff, so.
Okay.
I mean, it depends how much you want to do and how many features you want to have. But for most things, it's just plugins, like for all the RSS feeds for podcasts and YouTube channels and stuff, and they already exist.
Okay. Cool. We do have 5. So what do we think? Do we want to target season 5 as this is the big rebrand? Or
I think it's
what's
good.
everyone's thoughts?
I don't mean to brave because it was my idea, but yes. So
oh, now we get a committal answer from Ryan. Musty?
Yeah, I think season 5 sounds. I mean, that it gives you a little bit of time. If there's anything we needed to if it's all the website, then I was gonna say if there's anything we needed to coordinate at Barry for that, then we could get that done prior to. But
yeah, that would be my
part is not. Yeah, we're not building the website.
My only concern is that
over the weekend,
Barry is a big opportunity, and there's a lot of club presence there. So, yeah, because Barry could almost be the launch party.
Teasing opportunity.
Okay, yeah, good. Okay.
You just tease all summer teasing.
Okay.
Would you then suggest if we're going to do that, would you suggest holding off on the audio and the new bumpers and stuff then until that point? Okay.
Everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to reach out to Ed, and I'm going to get I'll get different audio.
But all of our stuff can have the date of the launch. That date all summer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so September 1st.
I mean, you need to be real sure that that's actually what's going to happen.
Yeah, because you can't tease it, and then that's a real good point, Pam. We can't all be like September 1st, September 1st, September 1st, and September 1st comes, and I'm overseas, and
That'd be
And Dean-
in the
South
video game
America.
world. In the video game world, with new games, they get delayed all the time. So this would just use that.
We'll just use that Miyamoto quote over and over again. How about that?
yeah, the delayed game will one day be
There's a
good.
chance of being good.
You know, September 1st hits, and Musty's trapped in the underground bunker at the mansion. So,
And it's an
Um,
STC thing that we never follow through on anyway. So STC.
this has sounded worse and worse, people. Dean, what do you think? Do you think targeting season 5 as the big, or would you still rather see individual items rolled out over the course?
No, I think I'd agree. I think that we'd have to put together a pretty clean action list at the end of these conversations. Exactly what's realistic to target, and we
Yeah.
need to time box how we approach those. My summer is crazy, as I'm sure yours is as well. Everybody on this call. So we really just need to put together a little bit of a project plan and see when we can roll this out and if September 1st is realistic or not.
Okay. Cool. There's 3 minutes left. Don't you go to the bathroom in here. I'll be right back. Come on. You're going outside.
All right. Well, we got through swag. Let's,
Okay.
still got a ways to go here. Sunday night's discussion probably around collaboration. So what can we do collaboratively, both with each other's channels and with larger or smaller newcomer channels? Is there any opportunity to have some guests on our podcasts from other areas of the industry? Pam, I know you guys do this extensively, so that's already fantastic. Blog mentions inviting big name guests. You guys just had Brandon Jones on the last Game of the Month podcast, which I'm not sure if it helped or not. You'd have to check the metrics and see. But I think there's a lot of opportunity for collabs. Not as good as Kyle Bossman. Well, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
At some point,
So
I would
Sean, I was
like.
just saying that's Sunday night.
Yeah, no, I can hear you. I left my headphones on.
Okay.
I would like to put together. Because I do want at some point I think we should have a call just on the website, and I'd like for like Pam and Derek to sort of be the website team if they're up for it. Like I want everybody's input, but I think those guys, because Pam does it for a living, puts together like demand sheets. I think she called them.
That's what I call everything.
Yeah, and Will the grocery list. It's a demand sheet. But yeah, I mean, we can do that after we finish everything else on the document or whatever, and then have that together. Because are we going to shoot to have the new website for the first as well? Is that we'll have to figure out what our target is, what we want for the first. What do we want to have done in this law? Because I think that I don't know. Like Bill said, everything should be at once. I don't want to have a big event on the first and draw a bunch of people, and then 2 weeks later the site changes, or a month later the site changes, or.
We could. I don't know. I was just say we don't have to. We could just. The September 1st could be just the starting date of something new, or not everything has to jump. Or you could say starting September 1st, you're going to see changes to the website, and then additionally, in the next week, you're going to see this, and then the following week. So you say this week you'll see STC Pod on Friday. Blah blah blah. You know, I'm just trying to think of a new episode of blah blah blah. Every week, basically, so you have to keep coming back, not just on the one day, basically. You know. not just September 1st, but make them want to come back all month long to check out everything new in September. I don't know how we get that. It's just
True. As long as you get the branding and all the visuals ready for that time, the sound and the new banners, that stuff.
Okay.
And then you could still do the heavy lifting of the website later. But as long as visually it's like, boom, this is new and exciting.
Okay. Cool. I think we're gonna lose Dean.
No, keep. If you guys need to keep going, don't base this on me.
And of course, you need to reach out to all the content creators to get the new branding on their videos, and
Yeah.
they all have to be on board for that day.
Have it all done. Send it out to everybody to see it, and then once everybody has it, and then pick a time frame when it's like, okay, now we're all going to shift over to this new one.
Yep.
Okay. Instead of just the one asshole putting it on his show and not telling anybody.
Yeah, I'd put it in front of Second Breakfast too.
Yeah, we're two assholes. That's what Bill was thinking as he heard it too. He's like, "What are these assholes doing? These fucking amateurs."
we need a new bumper for September.
Yeah, god damn it.
You blew it.
Cool. So, all right. I'll continue to work on the TeePublic storefront. Hopefully, then we'll have some entries from our designers. They have some concerns right now with their contracts through the company they work for, and whether or not what they're permitted to do and what they're not permitted to do. So they're figuring that out, and hopefully we get designs from the content creators as well, and then I can share those on there right on the front page, and I'll reach out to Samantha and let her know.
That?
You just make it. You go to your site, go to the TeePublic site, and I think you click upload a design or become a designer. It's one of those things. And then you put it together. The system functions very similar to Teespring does for like upload your artwork, design it, and then once that's done, just shoot me a message, and I will go find your design and add it to our storefront.
Oh, okay.
Is there a soft T-shirt option for them?
Yes, there is. There's the options for. There's hoodies, there's T-shirts, there's tank tops. They have a much wider option than Teespring did.
Color options too.
30
Tons
colors.
of color options. Yeah. Yeah, and then anybody else who wants to include the STC Pod shirt in their storefront is permitted to. They just would grab it off your thing. Now, where ours are specifically branded for club items, I don't know if they would, but anytime that shirt sells, you would receive the commission for it. So if somebody goes to the Cartridge Club storefront and buys an STC Pod shirt or mug or sticker or badge or phone case, cell phone case, they have those, then you get the 20% for it, and the 11% goes to whichever storefront it came from.
I like it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay, so at the bottom of the document, I'll start putting together some sort of some milestones that we'll have to hit along the way before we know whether or not they'll meet the September deadline.
I will reach out to Samantha and let her know that we're targeting September 1st for our big launch flash sale event, which is
Sounds good.
it might be a little farther off than she had hoped for. Maybe I'm not sure what she was hoping for, but we're the customer, so we're always right. That's how that works, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she'll be fine with it.
Yeah, I have no doubt. Cool.
All right, Musty, this is recorded and on YouTube.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, it'll be there. I posted the link already in the Twitter chat, but I will make sure that it is the same link once it's done processing. But
Very cool.
it should be.
All right. Sorry, I got to cut this short, guys.
No, say happy birthday to Amanda for me.
Will do. All right. Have a good one.
Cool.
That's it.
Good talking to you.
See you guys.